Hello, Avram.
Hey.
How are you doing?
All right.
How'd you like the new hold music?
Okay. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
Working on all kinds of little projects like that.
Uh-huh. Well, so I think the obvious thing to talk about this week is Black Friday stuff.
Sure.
So we can talk about that. Best, how to find Black Friday deals, what we expect, all that fun stuff. What deals are at this moment.
All right, that all makes sense to me. Make sure I'm set for everything over here. I am. Excellent. Cool. All right. That all sounds good to me. Hey, chat rooms. What did everybody think of the music? New loading music, because it's 8 minutes long and I don't have to restart it as frequently. And that is legitimately the reason. All right. I assume you saw everything else?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Interestingly, this week they don't go in the order that they were written like they usually do.
Okay.
Gonna start with crypto in gadgets and the other one, DuckDuckGo in internet, because I think that order made more sense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Well, if you are ready, I am ready. Alante says, "Hey, Avram," in the chat room.
Hey.
All right. I'm going to hit record. Set that back to where it needs to be. Set that to where it needs to be. All right. And here we go. This week, DuckDuckGo is protecting your mobile privacy, Rockstar is apologizing for GTA, and Halo is finally coming to TV. It's Sunday, November 21st, 2021, and this is episode 611 of F5 Live Refreshing Technology, a proud part of the Tech Podcast Network. If it's tech, it's here. Wherever you are and however you're accessing our show, whether it be on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or Snapchat, through a podcatcher like Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, Spotify, TuneIn, or a myriad of other options, our live stream platforms, livestream.com, Twitch, and YouTube, or of course on our website, PLUGHITZlive.com. Thank you for making us a part of your day. There are two ways that you can do that. First, you can join us live Sunday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern by going to f5live.tv/join us. There you can chat with us in the studio, give us your feedback on the topics as we talk about them. If you can't do that, you can always go to PLUGHITZlive.com/subscribe. There you'll see all of our shows, including F5 Live, The Piltch Point, PLUGHITZ Live Presents, and a lot more. And of course, you can find all the ways to watch, listen, and follow along. Before we start this evening, we've got a couple of announcements. If you're watching over on Twitch, you probably already heard these, but we have got our Twitch channel all set up. We've got the 3 tiers set. We mentioned before that they were going to be based on Star Trek shirts. So free viewers are red shirts. Then you've got blue shirts at tier 1, yellow shirts at tier 2, and green shirts at tier 3. In case you're curious, yes, the green shirt is based on that horrible uniform that Captain Kirk wore in like 3 episodes. And we figured.
Oh, don't come down on that uniform.
We figured it was elite in the show.
Wore it.
Right. We figured it was elite in the show, so it should be the elite tier over on Twitch. So that is tier 3. We've also got the bit rewards in place. 1,000, 5,000, and 10,000 bits will get you Zelda hearts at an empty heart, a half heart, and a full heart. And once we get our first 10,000 bit cheer, then we can have a 25,000, which will be a green Zelda heart because it's our corporate color. And channel points are now called rings, obviously, from the Sonic franchise. Over on YouTube, you'll find something similar. You'll find that we have 3 tiers. The blue, yellow, and green tiers. You get different things in the different tiers. The middle one is the one that I'm most excited about because you're going to get this show right here. There's an old reference for our longtime viewers. You're going to get this show and the Piltch Point ad-free and during events like CES. All of our new videos will get published to you first. No clever headlines, no descriptions, just a company name at CES 2022. You will get them as they are edited, and the rest of the public continues to get them at 3 a day until they are done. So that is the big news. Oh, and those emotes, by the way, or emoji as YouTube calls them. Alante and I have started calling them emos because it's the only part that's consistent between the two brands. Those emotes are also available over on YouTube for subscribers, which is pretty cool. Anyway, there we go. That's all of the exciting spiel for this week. Avram, how are you? You are quiet.
Very, very busy.
Yeah, I bet.
Very, very busy. I've been working all weekend. This is a prime time of the year, and I really don't know where the time goes because I feel like I always feel like no matter how many hours I've worked, I haven't accomplished enough very much. But this is the time of year, and we'll talk about this a little bit, some of this in the Piltch Point segment, where we go and we scout out the best deals for folks, and we have an extremely large number of deal pages this year that need to be maintained. So, we've been working on it all weekend, and I've also been working on trying to find any type of macros or automation that I can do to help us check the deals so that we can better find when something has gone out of stock or whatever. So that, because right now it's a somewhat manual process. And if we've got like 25 pages with like 20 or 30 deals each, you can see how that can quickly that can take a little while to go through several times a day. So anyway,
I could automate Amazon pretty easily.
Yeah, I'm working. That is not too hard. Well, we can talk about another time. I got, but anyway, yeah, I've been spending a little bit of every time there's something that's very manual, I always will get sucked into the quest to automate it, even if the quest to automate it takes more time than actually doing it.
Yeah, we used to talk about that at Sumo all the time. That Mark and I were willing to work really hard in order to not work very hard.
It's just that the principle that a person shouldn't do a robot's job, it just really is something I just feel very strongly about in all areas of life. So, listeners maybe don't know this, but like one of the things that I do at my job a lot, and it's not officially part of my job, but I do it a lot, is write custom Chrome extensions and other types of like little apps that we use to make our job easier. Like, if we have a tool that we have to, for example, if we have a tool where we have to check a box every time we publish something, literally right now, there's a tool where we have to check a box. why it couldn't uncheck itself or uncheck a box that's checked by default. Why it couldn't uncheck itself when the company's asked us to uncheck it is another story. But anyway, so they just asked us to start unchecking it. I spent like 5 hours late Friday night working on the script to uncheck the box. Now, to be fair, and unchecking the box, takes maybe 1 second.
Right.
But
you have to remember to do it.
That's the key point. You have to remember to do it. It's not the time, it's the memory. Because when you have a laundry list of all these little things that you need to do, and you can, so I guess my point there is that automation isn't just about saving time, it's about avoiding mistakes.
Exactly. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think that's my life too. Yeah, everything I automate. I was asked to do a little project for the client that I'm working on, and to look through some log files. And what's the first thing I did? I wrote a log parser so I could go and read all the log files out and have it parse it into something that I could read, so I could sort it and I could filter it by the type of thing I was looking for.
Right. Exactly. Also, just as a human, it's much more intellectually, challenging and satisfying to solve a problem like that than to actually sit there and do the manual labor.
Yeah, for sure. I spent like a day writing a Chrome extension for automating IMDb episode entries. I probably spent more time creating the extension than I would have actually entering the data, but I guarantee that the data was right.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. There's just a lot you can forget. So, especially when we're talking about not just me, but, dozens of other people who are having to uncheck a box.
Yep, absolutely.
So that's, I guess that's my life these days. Another week and a half or so of this, and then it's back to normal. I guess I'll be a little sad when it's back to normal, because I'll have to actually like think about what else to do. But
yeah, I guess this time of year the schedule kind of sets itself since it's
oops.
This is a ton of fun
trying
to
get it. I just keep trying to get it so it doesn't look like my hat is on a weird way, and I think it's because I'm looking at the webcam and it's actually like a mirror reverse, so I'm like, oh, I'm making it worse. Anyway, I think
understood. But yeah, I guess this time of year the schedule kind of writes itself, because you know what it is that you've got to get done. It's the deal pages, and then the more like editorial type stuff comes back, where you've got to actually plan what's coming. Yeah. That's pretty funny. Well, we've got a lot of stuff to get to tonight. We're going to be talking a lot about privacy and the privacy companies, which is an interesting turn for us. These companies have become new, right? As part of our preface here, these companies have become new as part of our kind of go-to topics recently, with like DuckDuckGo and Brave Browser and stuff like that. They've come out swinging lately, and it's going to be fun to talk about. We're going to talk about both of them in just a little bit. This week's Nifty Gifties on F5 Live is proudly powered by the Microsoft Store. Whether you're looking for a new laptop, a tablet, desperately seeking a new Xbox, games, and a whole lot more, you can find them at the Microsoft Store. And remember that current students, faculty, parents, and active military can save up to 10% on almost everything. You can find out about all the deals by going to f5live.tv/Microsoft. So a couple of weeks ago, we talked about Brave Search, which is Brave Browser's new entry into the, well, newish entry into the search arena. They had made it their default in their browser instead of Google. And this week, they are offering a whole new feature, which I find fascinating. We remember when iOS, is it 15 that we're using now? I don't know. The current one, when it was announced, one of the features that was coming was, oh no, we're talking about the wrong product. I apologize. We're talking about Brave. Brave has introduced, my bad, everybody. Brave has introduced cryptocurrency directly into their browser. So if you have dabbled in cryptocurrency, not if you're a professional or hardcore hobbyist, miner, investor, trader, you have a different process. But if you've dabbled in cryptocurrency, you've likely used a mobile wallet that you've downloaded from the App Store, or an extension that you've added from the Chrome store. Those are a little different from what the professionals and the hardcore hobbyists use, because that's, they use cold storage and encrypted wallets. The stuff that you get easily is traditionally not encrypted, fully encrypted on the device. It's got access to the internet. Other things might have access to it. If it's a Chrome extension, there's always the possibility that, it's interacting with things it's not supposed to. There's all kinds of things going on. So Brave has built the crypto wallet directly into their browser. It is a fully encrypted wallet that requires, direct password authentication every time. There's no way around it. And it means, like, if you're in Chrome or Edge, where maybe, you can interact with your credit cards more directly, here you have access to your crypto wallet more directly, and it's more secure. There's no APIs bouncing around or anything like that. And the UI is pretty solid for a first generation product. I was messing around with it this afternoon. It seems pretty solid. Is this a sign, Avram, that cryptocurrency is getting to that line? Do you think that it's becoming more consumery, or because it's in the Brave browser, is it still niche?
Brave is niche.
Okay.
But listen, it's going to reach a point where where crypto is going to be part. I mean, I don't know, do you need it built into your browser? I guess it's helpful. What we really need, I think, for crypto to go, I don't know what you'd call mainstream, would be for Amazon to accept it as a payment method.
Yeah.
Or at least stores like Amazon. But, if you start getting it accepted as a payment method at major retailers, then it starts to be really valuable, and regular people can see the value of it.
Yeah, for sure. And there are some ways to make that happen. Obviously, Coinbase is probably right now the go-to online marketplace for buying and selling cryptocurrency. And Coinbase has a debit card that you can get to interact with your assets directly, which is pretty cool. Similar to the way you can indirectly access your assets from, like, Robinhood with a debit card. You have to sell the asset in Robinhood, and then it's available on the right card. With this, right now they're doing a single cryptocurrency as its payment base, but you can literally just use it as a debit card.
I mean, I guess the best the best analogy, and you're kind of making it as stocks, right? You can't go to the store and buy groceries with a stock certificate.
Right.
but stocks are wealth, and you sell them, and then they become liquid, and you can use that to buy things. So I guess when I think of a currency, I think of something I can pay with, but cryptocurrency is really more like a stock or a
Right.
bond. Well, not
Yeah.
really a bond. It's really more like a stock.
Generally, it functions like a stock, but with this thing from Coinbase, where you can literally just use a debit card to pull from assets right now of a certain type of cryptocurrency. They're basing it all on a single currency, but I mean that is like an early proof of concept, right? You can take a debit card and go into a grocery store and buy groceries using your crypto assets directly. You don't have to go into
Yeah.
your app and sell them off and wait for it to finish and then swipe your card. You swipe your card, you make your purchase. And it comes out of your crypto assets. So that's the beginning of a bit of a proof of concept. If they were to implement that across other currencies, that would be a cool capability. And then if you could just wallet transfer, right? Do a direct wallet transfer from your crypto wallet in Brave browser or wherever to Amazon to make a purchase. Whoop, you scan your QR code, the purchase is made. That would be the ideal situation.
Yep.
So, but I think more access to more secure options can help push it in that direction, right? Because a lot of the wallets that you have are generally insecure. They're not great. I remember my brother talking about, when he was doing mining a lot, and he may be in the chat room. I don't know if he is. He was doing mining professionally for a while on Bitcoin, and he had to kind of time out when a block was going to complete, because if he wasn't there to transfer it from the mining wallet to a cold storage wallet, then people would try and hack his computer and steal the coins. And that was when the coins were worth like $180. And today they're what, 50 or 60K. So they would definitely be after you in a non-cold storage wallet. So, with this kind of security, at least you don't have to worry about the wallet being, even if it's stolen, they can't necessarily get anything out of it. So that's a positive. I think it's a good next move. Yes, it's Brave browser, which by its very nature makes it a little niche, right? But it is Brave's starting to see an increase in usage. DuckDuckGo has seen a huge increase in usage in the last year and a half. So, maybe it's going to be a little less niche in the future. So Lante says in the chat room, I definitely think having a wallet in a secured browser instead of, let's say, a wallet on your phone sounds better. Yeah, and that's kind of the point. It's not like especially if you're on a desktop, because it only works on the desktop browser. It doesn't work on the mobile browser, probably for that reason. That if somebody makes off with your phone, you don't want your actual physical wallet file to be available. But if they do get away with it, if it's fully encrypted, then less problems. I think this is a great move. I look forward to seeing if this helps with adoption over the next couple of years, because like you said, Avram, it's all about adoption. If we don't get more adoption in different ways, then it'll never go fully mainstream. So definitely, it's an interesting space, though. I have enjoyed this space since the beginning, really. At least as soon as I understood it. And I look forward to more people understanding it. This week's Piltch Point with Avram Piltch is proudly powered by PureVPN. The best way to protect your privacy online is with PureVPN. You can hide your online activities, say goodbye to regional restrictions, and improve your streaming quality. Plus, it's available for almost all of your devices. And to get a special price and a 31-day money-back guarantee, you can go to piltchpoint.live/purevpn. All right, Avram, it's that time of year.
Indeed
Deals
it
are
is.
happening.
Oh boy, do we have to deal with it. So let's talk about, first of all, we all know that we're actually, you could say right now we're in the heart of the Black Friday shopping season. It doesn't have to be the day after Thanksgiving. There's plenty of sales right now, and there will continue to be for the next week and a half, 2 weeks, and there'll even be some sales after. There'll even be some sales for a couple of weeks after Black Friday. Now, we were hearing a lot coming into this holiday season about shortages and supply chain issues and things costing more than they should or than they did. That's all true in many senses. One, obviously, the problems that we've seen with people getting graphics cards have not improved. It's still nearly impossible to get a standalone graphics card, to get a graphics card by itself and get one at a decent price anywhere close to the MSRP. And you know, there's definitely shortages of things, but there's also a lot of stuff that you can get, and there are things that are actually at all-time low prices. So so it really depends what you are looking for. If you are looking for if you're looking for PC components, you can still get some pretty significant sales on CPUs, on some CPUs. You can still get some pretty significant sales on SSDs. Some may not be the lowest price ever, but will be lower than they've been in a while. And some will be the lowest price ever. I just saw a deal on Intel 660p SSD 1 terabyte for $79. That's the lowest we've ever seen it. So there's definitely some deals to be had even in the component space. If you want a laptop, you can find some decent deals this holiday season. If you want a monitor, you can find some decent deals this holiday season. Peripherals are definitely maybe the area where you'll see the most deals, because there haven't really been shortages there. And of course, one way to get a graphics card would be to buy a laptop or desktop that has it inside, because the companies that make the products are not experiencing shortages. The companies that make make pre-built computers are not. They have a different supply, and they're not having the problems that you and I would have getting a high-end graphics card. So let's talk about where to look for tech deals on Black Friday, or really right now during this. Black Friday's not a day; it's really a state of mind. It's a season. So I'm going to share. I'm gonna, if you keep the spirit of Black Friday in your heart, you can find deals all year long. So let me I'm going to share my screen here and show you some things. So one place to find deals is at Tom's Hardware. We have literally dozens of pages of deals. This is our main page, the best Black Friday tech and PC hardware deals, but we also have all these pages on very specific things. So very specific categories. So for example, here are some of the Black Friday monitor deals. We've seen not as many deals as in prior years, but there's still some good ones to be had. For example, this 360 hertz Alienware monitor is now $379. That's normally $650, and this is the cheapest that we've seen it. There are opportunities to get good deals on things, just not as many. So you have to really look. Another one, this SSD deal here that I mentioned before, The Intel 660p 1TB SSD is a very competent NVMe SSD, and it uses very little power, so great for laptop upgrades. Is now $79. Among CPUs, you actually can get a good deal now on some of the AMD Ryzen CPUs. If you want, for example, the Ryzen 9 5900X, normally $570, is $484. And you can even find deals on things like on other things. This is actually what I'll be looking through, or more for my personal use, will be 3D printer deals, Raspberry Pi deals, looking for electronics deals. And you can find great deals on laptops too. For example, there is a Dell XPS 13 now. Yes, there's a Dell XPS 13 model now that is $636. That's for like a lot of people's favorite lightweight laptop, 2.6 pound laptop. You can get for $636 at the moment with good specs, like decent specs, Core i5, 8 gigabytes, 256. And you can step up to double the RAM and double the storage for just over $1,000. Those are really good prices. So besides Tom's Hardware, where can you go to look for a deal or check on a deal? Well, I'll tell you where I go to look for deals. One place I go, and this admittedly is for people who are really looking for hardcore hardware, not just not phones or smartwatches. I go to reddit.com/r-build-a-pc sales. That has a very dedicated community of people pointing out new deals that they're seeing. I also really like this site called PCPartPicker.com, and they have one of the best price engines, if not the best price engine I've ever seen. And they have a place on their site called Price Drops, and this is updated every day. And you can actually go by category. So like if I want to see what keyboards have had a price drop, I can see that wow, this is quite a deal. The Patriot Viper V765 is $60. Really? Right? That's quite a deal. It's normally $90. Well, maybe 70. You can get 70 at Amazon, but that's pretty good, right?
Yeah.
This is I should mention, this is our favorite keyboard at Tom's Hardware, and has been for a while. Or is one of our favorites.
And anybody who watched our live stream or any of the recorded videos from when we were doing the blind react, we had one of the sites recommended a keyboard that none of us had ever heard of before. And so what did we do? We went over to Tom's Hardware to see what you guys recommended. And we showed off that this was your number one recommendation.
Yeah. I mean, it's been our top recommendation for a while. I mean, it's such a good deal. Like even at $70 or $80, it's a great deal. I have one over here somewhere, but I don't know, dig through my drawer. This comes with my favorite type of switch, the Kale box white switches. It gives you media keys and all that stuff. And now it's $60. So, but anyway, my point was peripherals are a good deal, and PC Part Picker is another great place to find deals. So we're covering deals. You can find them on PC Part Picker. Also, let's say you go somewhere and you find it and you see something, you're like, hey, is this a good deal or not? Someone is telling me that this is a good deal, but I don't necessarily believe this is the best price. If it is a computer part, there's a very good chance that they have covered it. So you can search for example, let me say, this Alienware monitor, right? They will actually show you a price history. So if somebody says, "Oh, good news, it's $500," you say, "Oh, wait a second, though. At one point, it was $379 or whatever." So there's, so you can check that out. Plus, I always mention this, but there's a plugin called Chrome extension called the Camelizer. And if you are on Amazon and you see something, you want to know the price history of it, is it a good deal or not? You can click the Camelizer button, and it will show you the Amazon price history of this product. So you can see that this CPU, $484, that's the cheapest it's ever been on Amazon. Now, is it possible PC Part Picker might show you the other sites? They don't always show you Amazon though. So you can see, wow, this really is a good deal. Whereas other things you can go see on Amazon and say, I don't even know how I ended up on this Fitbit. Okay, $199.95 for this Fitbit. It's equivalent to what it was before, but we shouldn't be too excited because it's been that price before. So that's just kind of a quick look at all the different things that you can do to help yourself save this Black Friday season. I definitely recommend folks come to the homepage of tomshardware.com. We've got links galore to all of our different guides there, and we've got individual articles about some of the most important deals, some of the best deals around. And I guess it just really depends on what you are looking for. But like I said, there are deals out there. You can find them. Now I have to ask you a question, Scott.
Sure.
What are you shopping for this holiday season?
Monitors. We're going to do a remodel in here. I mentioned it. If you're watching on Twitch, you heard me talk about it in the pre-show. We're going to do some remodeling in here that's going to require a couple of extra monitors. So that is definitely on my short list right now. I don't know what else. I'm the kind of person who looks through the deal pages and goes, ooh, that thing looks interesting. And goes off and researches.
I mean, there are certain things that are just always, that are kind of an impulse purchase that I think anyone would always be interested in. Like, oh, okay, maybe there's a better USB hub out there. Maybe there's a better charger out there. Maybe there's a better, maybe there's a better set of headphones out there, or a mouse out there, or whatever, because those things are not so expensive that if you see a really good price on one, that you have to really think twice about, I didn't budgeted for this.
Yeah.
But it really, obviously, when I talk about these things being a good deal, we haven't even talked about them being gifts. And why not? Because I think most people, when they're buying computer stuff or computer components, peripherals, whatever, they're probably buying it for themselves, or they're buying it for someone they know really, really well, that they really want this thing. But I think when you're getting up to doing things like buying a laptop, you're probably buying it for yourself. Although one year I did buy my wife a laptop, like 2 or 3 years ago. And it was because she really needed a laptop.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it was, we discussed it. It wasn't like a surprise. I said, hey, it was more like, hey, will this count as your holiday present if I buy it for you? Because that's like buying somebody a pet or something. You gotta make sure that it's something that they really want. So I am most looking for electronics, like hobby electronics, things that I might need if they're a good deal. So I would love to get more cool colors of filament from my 3D printer. I would love to get any kind of like add-on boards for Raspberry Pi, or if I see a really nice robot kit or something like that, or some of the parts that we need for them, I would probably be very, very tempted to get one of those things. But there's really not like one major thing that I need right now, at least in terms of tech. I could use a new couch, but that's that's not really that's a different kind of shopping. But
it's a
besides that,
it's a shame you're not down here, because I just had my hands on a really nice red couch yesterday.
Oh,
Leather and
yeah.
electric recliner, and
Ooh, that's really
it
nice.
wasn't what I needed, but
That's really nice. But I need a really big one or a set or something. Anyway, yeah. Part of the problem is these things fall apart so fast. Like my old couch, I love it, but the 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 pleather, or whatever you call the fake leather, the bonded leather, just peeled is just all peeling apart after like 4 years. So
that's the worst.
yeah, so really lame. But anyway, if you're looking for deals on electronics, with on computer things, I strongly recommend you check us out at tomshardware.com.
Very good. Well, obviously, you know that I always follow your gift guides. I enjoy them. And sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, that's the one. That's interesting. Um, because I get introduced to things that aren't necessarily my normal go to. Um, I uh, I got a thing on an impulse recently. It wasn't from you, but it was a recommendation somewhere. A little camera that goes on my TV, and then LEDs that go around the outside. And so the ambient light behind the television color matches what's on the screen. Oh,
Oh,
it's so
that's
much
kind of cool.
fun. Yeah.
Actually, actually, you did remind me. I would consider getting a new TV this holiday season.
Okay.
It's not the kind of thing we cover in Tom's Hardware, so it's kind of outside my mind. But we have discussed here in my household getting it as if we change the furniture for the entertainment center. Right now, we have this old style entertainment center that has like a hole in it for the TV, so we
Sure.
cannot fit anything bigger than a 39-inch TV in there. Once
Okay.
we If we replace the entertainment center, which we would like to do, we will have a spot to just hang on the wall, hang a TV on the wall, and then in that case, we would definitely get a bigger and higher resolution TV.
Sure. So
I'm just not one that puts a lot of money into my TV.
I'm gonna put this out there. Alante and I just finished up assembling for a product review a really cool uh, TV stand home entertainment center thing. I'll send you pictures after the show. Um,
Ooh, I'm curious to see that.
it is so cool. Um, it, it it comes with lights inside the cabinet, and they're so bad. It, it's worth every bit of the $10 to go to Walmart and get one of the monster strips back here to enhance it. But we wanted to build it the way it came. Uh, and as it is, it's nice. With an extra one of these inside, it's going to be awesome. But couple of shelves. I've got all of the Xboxes in it. I've got a classic, a 360, a one, and an X, all in the cabinet, and it looks real cool. And I think it was like $80 or something like that. So we're gonna have a product review up on that soon, and an unboxing, and some photos of the build, which was pretty easy. So anyway, not entirely related, but partially. It's a cool product at a good price. Anyway, that's what the topic of the segment is. This is a cool product at a good price. So, anyway, uh, as always, Avram, thank you, uh, for especially for taking the time, you and your team, for going through and really scouring for these deals for us, so that the rest of us aren't having to do that. And I look forward to what we talk about next. This week's Extra Life on F5 Live is proudly powered by Loot Crate. Whether you're a gamer, anime fan, or pop culture aficionado, Loot Crate has got a crate for you. They curate a bundle of collectibles, apparel, figures, and more that you can't find anywhere else. Crates get delivered to your door. It is like getting an awesome birthday present from yourself every month. And to learn more about the crates that are available and the deals that are going on right now, you can go to f5live.tv/lootcrate. Alante is talking a lot in the chat room, and most of it is him correcting his previous messages, which is hilarious. Anyway, if you're not joining us live, f5live.tv/join us. So Rockstar released recently their new version of the GTA 3 trilogy, to much, I wouldn't say ambivalence, because it's a little less than that. People were excited and then disappointment. To much disappointment on PC. So on October 11th, here's our timeline leading up to where we are right now. On October 11th, they pulled the old games, the original 3, from their store for PC. Because on November 11th, they released the definitive edition, the new remastered trilogy. And if you're like us here in the office, you were probably watching at least one streamer play the game on launch day, and that may not have worked out in your best favor, because, was it special if they were playing on PC. All kinds of interesting issues. My favorite, though, is that people are not shaped like people. They have like jelly arms sometimes, and their shoulders start like at the bottom of their chin and go up. Just a cornucopia of chaos. And so later that day, the PC store, the entire Rockstar Games PC game store, stopped working. And they didn't really say anything about it. And 29 hours later, the store came back. Whoop. Except the definitive edition was missing. And while people had originally suspected that maybe the new game had crashed the store, no. What Rockstar said was that some inappropriate files had been included in the release. That could have meant that now by inappropriate, well, not inappropriate, that wasn't their exact wording, but files that weren't supposed to be there. What a lot of gamers who hadn't played on PC assumed, because everybody who had played or watched PC knew why the games were gone. Because, it was bad. But if you hadn't played on PC and you heard that it came back and you couldn't purchase it right now, you might have assumed that maybe, oops, we accidentally included music that we didn't relicense for the new version of the game. Some people had conjectured that maybe there was some uncompiled code in there. No, definitely not what it was. On the 19th, this past week, the company finally came clean and said, all right, our bad. This was a disaster. We apologize. The exact wording was, the updated versions of these classic games did not launch in a state that meets our own standards of quality or the standards our fans have come to expect. Well, that's very true. They were worse than the originals, which is pretty impressive. So the company is trying to make it right. They're going to do a whole bunch of patches across the games to try and fix some of the problems. Alante and I had a lot of fun watching as one guy was driving through a tunnel and another car was driving above him, mostly in the wall, through the tunnel. The driver's side wheels were about all we could see sticking out of the wall. And of course, the strangely shaped people that were clearly, they ran some sort of an AI to try and clean up the imagery. But some people just look weird and plastic, like they had Botox that went wrong. Some of them were physically shaped wrong. Alante saying it was amazing. Almost certainly talking about the car because we were laughing a ton at that one. So they're going to do patches to fix the problems. And if you have already purchased this casserole of nonsense that is the definitive edition on PC, they're going to reinstate the old games in the store, and they're going to give you those as well, so that you can play the originals while they fix this absolute chaos. My problem is that it took them a week to admit what was actually happening. It took from the 12th to the 19th for them to go, "No, we pulled it down because the games suck. Our bad. Sorry about that." As if they thought, well, if we can fix this in 2 days, we can put it back in the store and continue to blame it on a file that was inappropriate, that wasn't supposed to be in the release. Which doesn't make me happy, but at least I guess they're trying to make it right. I don't know.
It sounds like office politics, right?
Yeah.
Somebody wanted it to be released by a certain time. They weren't able to properly hit the release date. They released, somebody else probably said, too bad, we have to release no matter what. We can always, there was probably some executive who said something like, we can always patch it later. And then chaos ensued, and they realized that they shouldn't do it like this. And then maybe they still figured, hey, we can fix this in a few days. And I'm sure somewhere there's someone there who was the truth teller who said, this, we can't come out with these by this date. They're going to not work. And somebody else who said, too bad, we have to come out with them.
Mm-hmm.
And the end result was this chaos. And then the person who probably said you have to come out with them by this date said, oh, I'm sure you can just fix it in 2 days, do whatever you need, stay up all night, whatever. And then they realized that was not going to happen. So I'm sure there was some type of internal struggle like that.
Almost certainly.
Somehow I'm reminded of, because I guess I just watched it the other day, the USS Callister episode of Black Mirror. Have you seen that? Yeah, where they have to have the patch for the game out by a certain day, and the guy asks him, can we add these new features? And he's not paying attention, and he says, sure, yeah, add them. And it ends up that they have to delay it till Christmas Eve to roll out the patch. And I was thinking, who would roll out a patch on Christmas Eve? That sounds like a bad idea.
Yeah, it does. But we see all kinds of day one patches for Christmas launch titles and things, so
yeah, I mean,
wouldn't be a first time.
I guess the lesson here to all of the game publishers should probably be, you're better off delaying a release than releasing it with problems. I don't know what the final numbers were for Cyberpunk 2077, but my guess is that by having problems when it first released, it really chilled enthusiasm for the game. I mean, granted, the fact that they kept delaying it, at a certain point, they were really just embarrassed and had to release it, I guess. But even then, they had problems, and it ended up that maybe what people would have really enjoyed as a game, but it just got such a negative reputation. Right. So I guess you're better off delaying than releasing something with problems.
Yeah, there's another game that did this, that when it released, chat, tell me the game we were talking about the other day, Alante. where it released and it was so bad that it was bad. And then, but today it's a good, solid, enjoyable game that is almost unrecognizable versus its release game because it was so bad. I think it might have been No Man's Sky that we were talking about that was this. But I really like in chat. Yeah, it was No Man's Sky. About the GTA stuff. If you wiggled your cars while driving, the geometry of the car widens, seemingly infinitely. So you can make your car bigger as you drive.
It says lots of Easter eggs.
Easter eggs aren't supposed to be that easy to find, though.
It's not supposed to be true.
It's not supposed to be just general operation of the game. And Alante reminded me Spore, although Spore was entirely based on delays that it lost its mojo, but it was delayed by 13 years. So, that's a little different than being delayed by 3 or 6 months. Spore was delayed by 13 years, but it saw 2 console generations come and go in its development cycle.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still waiting for... I'm a big fan of the Lego games, and I'm still been waiting like 3 years or something for the Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga to come out. And
yes,
that was, I think, at least first shown in like 2018 or something at E3. And they had trailers for it that made it look like it was going to be ready. I mean, how complicated could a Lego game be? They've done Lego games many times, but there has been no new Lego game in like 3 years, and everyone is waiting on the Skywalker Saga.
I think I just saw that that they just launched a mobile title in the traditional Lego game series. I'm not confident on what I'm saying.
There are always mobile titles that have something to do with Lego, but are they like the games that also...
I got a press release on this one, which is unusual. I don't usually get press releases on Lego mobile titles, but this one was.
I'll have to check it out, but it's would be absolutely no fun on mobile, because for me the fun of them is that I play them with my son on the TV. So
sure. From chat, Anthem was another doomed and prematurely released game, and that one was heartbreaking. Yeah, Anthem was theoretically, if that one had congealed a little more before they released it, that one had the possibility of having some esports implications, but in the end, Anthem just fell apart underneath its own weight, which was a shame, because there was so much hype over that one, and then it just didn't do any of it, which was a shame. But yeah, I mean, we could probably sit here all night and list games that came out too early. Not all of them collapse under their own weight, though. Hopefully that won't be the case here. The fact that these games are 800 years old probably helps. It's like, oh yeah, it's fine. We'll wait a little longer on these, because I'd like to play them with better graphics. So, but yeah, No Man's Sky, Spore, which went the other direction, Cyberpunk, they all suffered from some development hell. This week's news from the tubes and F5 Live is probably powered by Malwarebytes. Whether you use a PC, a Mac, or a mobile device, Malwarebytes Premium is the company's strongest protection ever. It fights threats that traditional antivirus software can't stop, and it blocks threats like worms and dialers and spyware and bots and a whole bunch of other stuff. It allows you to use your computer and mobile devices with confidence and peace of mind. To learn more and to get a special price right now, you can go to f5live.tv/malwarebytes. So this is the topic I accidentally started talking about at the top of the show because, as I warned Avram, I flipped him around and I ended up messing up. We talked about Brave earlier, and now we have DuckDuckGo, the other search browser combo company that's focused on privacy. They have implemented a feature that tries to mimic what Apple did with the app tracking transparency feature that caused a huge uproar in the online marketing community when iOS 15 was announced earlier in the year. If you don't know, if you don't have an iPhone or an iPad, the app tracking transparency feature, basically when an app is going to do things to track you internally or to access some of the device's public data, it has to ask permission in the same way that your phone asks permission to access the camera or your photos or your location before it does it the first time. And you can say no, and it has to bug off. This works the exact same way on iPhone, and Android doesn't really have anything native to do that, and DuckDuckGo is adding it to their offering. Basically, the way it works is like a VPN on your device. In fact, it even registers on the Android device as a local VPN. Everything is processed on device. They have a database of tracking systems, and when a request through one of those tracking systems is made, it 404s it on the local VPN and just returns back to the app, logs that the attempt was made, and moves on. So, really interesting thing. Again, it's a company whose kind of sole existence is based around privacy. Some people don't care, but if you look at the way that users on iPhone and iPad have been responding with the app tracking transparency, a large majority have been asking apps not to track them. So it does seem to have hit a nerve. And maybe this is a feature that's gonna, we talked what makes Brave go mainstream, what makes cryptocurrency go mainstream. Maybe this is something that can help DuckDuckGo enter a more common consciousness. Of course, it's still a goofy name.
I think that this is just something that's going to get built into the OS eventually.
Probably.
This kind of thing puts pressure on on Android, on Google to build it into Android. I'm sure Google will leave themselves an out. So like they will fix it so that it makes it hard for marketers who are using Facebook or competing marketers, but Google will still have your data.
Of
So
course. But Samsung and Microsoft will put their own spin on it to knock the Google stuff out too.
Every time we try to determine what apps get the data, and the platform vendors initiate a big crackdown, what they're really doing is cracking down on smaller businesses, right? Because Google still gets to track you however it wants, right? Now, to be fair, who do you trust? I guess I trust Google with my data more than I trust someone who made a bubble popping app.
Fair enough.
So, but some of this stuff comes from the permissions that you give the app as well. So you need to be careful what permissions you grant.
True. That's very true. There's that's one of the things that you and I have talked about on this show now for years. Is before you install an app, look at what it's asking for, because your solitaire game probably doesn't need access to your contacts, for example.
But this is all true, but I have installed apps where they've asked for something and I wasn't quite sure what it was. But if you turn it down, the app could crash because it could, right? So I've said
Yep.
yes to some things because I want to use this app. I don't want it to crash. There might be a reason that I'm not thinking of that it needs my contacts. And I'm not just thinking about the phone, but just other things that I've
Mm-hmm.
signed up for online where it wanted to sync with my Google or my Facebook accounts or something, and it wanted access to my contacts. Like, why do you won't need it? I don't know.
Right. It's true.
So
That's why the example I always use is solitaire, since solitaire is not a social game. Uh, but yeah, there's a lot of potential shenanigans out there, and since DuckDuckGo does not have a tracking system, they they themselves are not interested in participating in that. Uh, you know, letting them
yeah,
be involved. At least you know that everything they know about is going to be
yeah.
filtered.
I mean, DuckDuckGo is the search engine of choice on Raspberry Pi. That's what they give you
Mm-hmm.
as the default on Raspberry
It's
Pi
the
OS, and I think
it's the search engine of choice on Tor as well.
yeah, I think Linux users like DuckDuckGo. So I think it's thought of as a more ethical, more um, I don't know, secure, privacy friendly
Yeah.
service than Google or Bing.
Yeah, I've been doing a whole like search engine deep dive recently, and I generally like DuckDuckGo for search. I really like Brave for search, which I wasn't prepared for, considering they've existed for like an hour and a half. Um, I wasn't I wasn't prepared to like the way their search works as much as I do. It's going to get better with time. They're just building their indexing, right now. But I like how it works. I like how DuckDuckGo works. I like that you can do it entirely without JavaScript, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
There is a fully functional version of DuckDuckGo that works without a single line of JavaScript. If you turn off JavaScript in your browser, it will redirect you to another version of the search, and it will work entirely without it, which is all pretty cool. So if you're really, really privacy heavy, you can turn off JavaScript and continue to use DuckDuckGo. That's a company that's dedicated to privacy, writing a whole second version of their search engine.
Mm.
Pretty impressive. But I have signed up for the beta on this. I have not been approved for it yet. As soon as I am, I will write a little bit more about how all of it works. If you would like to try and sign up for the beta, you can get on the wait list. In the DuckDuckGo Android app, go to your settings, select app tracking protection under the privacy section, and then join the waiting list there, and they will add you. They're adding people every week. You can try out the feature if you are interested. This week's DRM Not Included in F5 Live is proudly powered by Amazon Prime. You get free shipping, but you get a whole lot more, like free music with Amazon Prime Music, free TV, movies, and documentaries with Amazon Prime Video, free games, and a free Twitch subscription, which you can use to help support us here at PLUGHITZ Live, with Amazon Prime Gaming, and a whole lot more. And to learn more about the features that are available, quick links to those features, a 30-day free trial, and more, you can go to f5live.tv/prime. So, Over the years, the Xbox brand has meant different things to different people. To Steve Balmer, it meant the center of your living room entertainment experience. To Satya Nadella, it means a great place to connect to the cloud. But we'll talk about Steve Ballmer in particular here because during the entertainment push, Xbox Entertainment Studios was born to complement Xbox Game Studios. And under the Entertainment Studios, a number of projects were announced. The first was an Atari documentary, which was fully produced and released to the public. But the most exciting one was a Halo TV series. Totally within the Halo universe, it was going to be a live-action series with big names attached to direct and produce. No footage was shown in the early days because it hadn't gone into production yet, but it has also been in production hell over the last couple of years because that project was announced in 2013. If you're keeping track, this is the end of 2021, and we still do not have a Halo TV series. In that time, Xbox Entertainment Studios was disbanded. And some of the projects that they were working on were discarded completely, but not Halo. This project has gone through several iterations. At one point, I think Steven Spielberg was attached to the project. Everything has been thrown at this, and nothing has come of it. They've had multiple release partners. If I remember correctly, it was supposed to come out on Netflix at one point. Nope. Here we are, the end of 2021, and we have 17 seconds of video. This is the closest we've gotten to anything. And the new launch partner is Paramount Plus. The TV series is supposed to launch 2022. That could be January 1st or December 31st. So it's a wide launch window. And we have a total of 17 seconds of video, which we have on the website if you want to see those 17 seconds. Basically, it is just close-ups of Master Chief with Cortana speaking in the background, welcoming him. So we have a couple of people that we know that are attached. The most important for me is that Jen Taylor is coming back as Cortana. It would be real weird to have somebody else, at this point, it would be real weird to have somebody else voice Cortana because she has voiced her in the games, on the Windows Phone, in Windows 10, on speakers, in TV ads. Anywhere Cortana has existed, it has always been Jen Taylor. And it will continue to be Jen Taylor in the TV series, confirmed. So that is pretty exciting. I don't know. I think because the new game is also now coming out in 2022 because it had its own production delays, and 343 made the decision, right, to go back to our previous topic, 343 made the decision to push the game rather than to release garbage. The full game will come out in 2022, seemingly alongside the TV series. That seems like great timing to me.
Yeah, it does. I mean, I guess it'll be a renaissance for Halo.
Yeah, exactly. All kinds of new stuff coming to the Halo universe all in 2022. That seems like a great accident.
This is a coup for Paramount Plus.
It's definitely an accident. Yeah, absolutely.
Because Paramount Plus, I mean, first of all, did we cover the fact that they massively offended everybody outside of the United States and maybe Canada last week, where because you can't get Paramount Plus in other countries right now,
right?
And Star Trek Discovery, they decided to pull it from Netflix so that people in the UK and other places where they were expecting to see Star Trek Discovery now are going to have to wait until Paramount Plus comes out in their countries. and it's not coming to every country that was getting it on Netflix. Although I think they may allow some Netflixes to get it, but not a lot. Like a lot of countries are basically they are not able to watch Star Trek Discovery, even though season 4 just started last week. They can't watch now. In the
Oh,
United States, we can, and in Canada, I think they have Space Channel or some channel that that runs it. Uh, but anyway, so
oh,
but Paramount, but the reasoning is Paramount Plus wants, after annoying people in other countries, uh, they want to launch in those countries. So
sure.
they need something besides Star Trek.
Mm-hmm.
There's really not a lot of fantastic content on Paramount Plus if you don't like Star Trek or beyond
Survivor.
Star Trek stuff. Oh,
If you
okay.
if you don't like Star Trek and Survivor and the Housewives series, you're pretty much stuck.
Right. I mean it's I have used it to watch some CBS shows that I could otherwise have watched on CBS. So, because I have a Paramount Plus membership, because it was
Or
pretty
on
cheap
demand.
for a year. Yeah. Uh, and I want to watch the Star Trek shows, so I
Right.
have enjoyed it for that. But yeah, it is
That's
not.
been that's
I
been
mean,
enough for me to have it, but I know
right.
that's not everybody. Which, by the
Yeah.
way,
And,
Prodigy, I'm really enjoying. The kids show.
I gotta get. Yeah, I started watching an episode of it, and it seemed boring. I gotta try and finish watching it.
The first
It.
episode really is a bit weird and slow, but once
Eh.
once they once they get on Janeway's ship, the show really takes off.
All right, I will have to
It's
catch
cute,
up on them.
it's cute, and it's funny. It's not going to be next generation. It's a kids
Well,
show. It's Nickelodeon, right?
yes, I would like
But
it to be Lower
but it's fun.
Decks, but I guess you can't ask that from a kid show. I really
Yeah,
enjoy the Lower Decks. I mean,
I
Lower
do
Decks is
too.
fantastic.
I do
I
too.
love I love Lower Decks. So the between Lower Decks and Discovery, it's pretty decent. I mean, it's much more compelling than say to watch Peacock. Uh,
Sure.
so yeah, I mean, I I think they need more content on more
Yeah.
exclusive content on Paramount Plus. This is exactly the kind of thing that would help them.
Yeah.
So
And
in that respect, good
internationally
for Paramount Plus.
recognized, an internationally recognized and internationally loved franchise.
Yeah,
That's what Paramount Plus needs. They've got Star Trek, which is that, but it can't just be that. It's the reason why Peacock has struggled, right? It can't just be The Office.
right. Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, you have to build up a good library of content. I mean, as we've talked about in the past, Netflix just keeps piling it on.
Yeah.
I'm now watching more Netflix than I think I ever have before. I've just been binge like while I'm working on late nights or whatever. I'm just binge watching stuff while I
Yep.
work. I'm almost done with Cowboy Bebop, with the new
Okay.
Cowboy Bebop show that just launched on Friday. I mean, it's okay. I mean,
I
I wouldn't
I
say
ex-
it's
I
fantastic.
accidentally watched all of the second season of Tiger King today. It was not my plan.
Yeah, I haven't watched that. I don't know. I just felt just wasn't. I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I should watch. I haven't watched the first one, the first season.
Okay.
How can they keep having seasons of something that ended up with the person in jail? They get.
Um, because there's a lot more to it, and there's the possibility of him getting out because it may have all been made up.
Oh, okay.
There's a new trial going on based on the evidence presented in this because some of the guys may have actually made up the whole thing that got him in jail.
Oh, all right. Well,
And of course
yeah. The
they got to talk about his failed presidential pardon campaign.
yes, yes. Well, that's anyway. Yeah. Anyway. Point being that you need to compete in the streaming game. You need a lot of original content.
Yeah.
Netflix
You have to have a
certainly
hook.
is a leader in that space. Yep. And Paramount Plus, at least they have a claim to fame with being the Star Trek network.
Yeah.
Whereas, what is Peacock's claim to fame? Hey, we're NBC.
The Office. They base their entire existence around having The Office. I don't think there's any pretending anything else. They have based their entire existence around we have The Office and nobody else does. Yeah. Sad story.
We signed up for it for a month to watch Boss Baby 2.
Okay.
That was the reasoning. It was $5. It was like renting Boss Baby. We signed up for it for a month, and then I did watch some other shows on it. There was this show called Dr. Death with Joshua Jackson about a real life doctor who had done some bad things. Yeah. But you know, I
American Ninja Warrior Jr. is exclusive to Peacock now, which holds my attention. I really enjoy American Ninja Warrior, particularly the kids version, because oh my god, I can't even imagine being that age and doing the crazy things they're doing, and doing it as a race. Impressive. Anyway, but yeah, it's very little on Peacock, and we've talked a lot about, you know, how they haven't quite found their hook. Their only hook is we have The Office, and Paramount Plus has had that same kind of thing. Well, we have Star Trek, and so yeah, I think the timing on this is going to be great as Xbox, you know, breathes new life back into Halo. Here we are at the 20th anniversary of Xbox. Halo's coming back to the console in a big new way. Halo's coming to Paramount Plus in a big new way. You know, I think it's a good idea. It's good timing. It finally helps Paramount have something unique. I think it's good all around. Well, that is our show. Thank you to those of you who joined us live. If you didn't and would like to in the future, Sunday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern, you can go to f5live.tv/join us and chat with us in the studio while we do the show. We've had a pretty active chat room tonight, which I always appreciate. If you're not able to join us, that's okay. PLUGHITZlive.com/subscribe is the place to go to see all of our shows and all of the ways to watch, listen, and follow along. I'll remind you that we now have our subscription services set up on both Twitch and on YouTube. Over on YouTube, if you sign up for the middle tier, you'll get this show and the Piltch Point without ads. You'll get new content early, and during CES, you'll get all of our interviews as they're edited, so you can get tons of videos right up front instead of having to wait for them to publish to the public. All pretty exciting, so definitely check that out. Hit the join button if you go over to our YouTube channel to get more information. I've also got a video explaining how all of it works. I also, by the way, Avram, updated our welcome message on the YouTube channel because I realized that it was filmed in front of that backdrop, which ages it pretty good, and you were mentioned as Tom's Guide and Laptop Mac, so that that made it a little less valid. So I published a new version of that as well. So it's been a big week, lots of things going on. And like I mentioned earlier, we've got some exclusive content coming to our subscribers on YouTube and Twitch coming up soon. And so watch for that. And I guess with that, on behalf of the staff that's not here, I'm Scott.
I'm Avram.
And we will see you back next time. Ciao.